All right, let's just jump right into it. We're going to talk about something that, it really affects every single one of us here in India. That big question. When you're watching the news, are you actually seeing the truth? Or is it something else? A carefully crafted illusion? You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling through your phone or you've got the news on and you just get this little nagging thought, wait a minute, is this the whole story? Is what I'm seeing a real verified fact or is it something else? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. And this really gets to the heart of the problem. Think about it like this. On one side, you've got the truth. Simple, right? Verified information. But on the other side, you've got illusion. And that's just a perception, something that's been packaged to, well, confuse us. The scary part? The line between the two can get super, super blurry. Okay, so how do we even get here? Well, a lot of it starts with money, with commercial pressure. So in this first part, we're going to dig into the business of TRP, and you'll see what happens when the news stops being about informing people and turns into a total numbers game. I mean, we've all seen this, haven't we? You flip on the TV, and it's just this constant stream of breaking news flashing on the screen. A lot of the time, they'll just harp on one single issue for hours, sometimes even for days. So some things get blown way, way out of proportion, while other really important stuff, it just gets ignored, pushed aside, basically silenced. So you have to ask yourself, why? Why does this happen? If the whole point of news is to keep us informed, why is so much of it just sensationalized? Why is it so skewed? Well, the answer, believe it or not, mostly comes down to just three little letters. And those three letters are TRP. It stands for Target Rating Point. Basically, it's just a way to measure how many people are watching. And here's the deal. A higher TRP means more viewers. More viewers means more money from ads. It's a really simple formula, but it creates this cutthroat competition to grab our attention, to get our eyeballs. So when your top priority shifts like that, it leads to a pretty serious, kind of sobering conclusion. And this next quote just sums it all up perfectly. The argument is that for a lot of media, news just isn't what it was supposed to be anymore. It's become the business of TRP. Simple as that. Because think about it, when your money is directly tied to how many people are watching, your whole motivation changes. It's not about great reporting anymore. It's about creating whatever drama, whatever fight, whatever debate will glue people to their screens. But look, it's not just TV news we're talking about, not by a long shot. Next up, we have to talk about the massive role of social media and this idea of the unverified viral loop. And to understand just how big of a deal this is, look at this number, 70%. That's how many people in India now get most of their news from social media. It's a huge shift. Yeah, this chart really drives it home, doesn't it? The vast, vast majority of how we get information is now controlled by these platforms where, anything can spread. There are no traditional gatekeepers, no editors checking facts like there used to be. And that has some really profound consequences. And here's what happens because of that. Information on social media, it just spreads like wildfire. There's no fact-checking process, really. This is what fuels all those incomplete or just plain false stories. And honestly, it just creates this huge cloud of confusion about what's really going on. Which brings us back to a really fundamental point. The media's job, its real job, is to ask the tough questions, to hold people in power accountable. It's not supposed to be some big show that just distracts us from the real issues. So when the focus is no longer on facts, but just on stoking a debate, a really core principle has been lost. Now, of course, this isn't a knock on every journalist out there. Absolutely not. There are so many reporters who are still out there working their tails off to get to the truth. But they're competing against what you might call the illusionists, the ones who are just way better at creating noise than they are at reporting actual facts. And that is the real danger here. It's the big picture risk. When all that noise gets too loud, when the honest reporters are either pushed aside or just completely drowned out, and when a lie is repeated enough times, well, that illusion starts to feel like the truth. For a lot of people, it becomes their reality. Okay, so we've laid out the problem pretty clearly, but what's the solution? What can we actually do about it? Well, this last part is all about where the real power is. And spoiler alert, it's with us. It's in our own ability to think for ourselves and see through all that smoke and mirrors. And this is such a key point. Questioning what you see in the media, that's not being disloyal, it's not being negative, it's actually an act of awareness. It's what it means to be a smart, engaged citizen who genuinely cares about what's true. So how do we do that practically? Well, here's a super simple but really powerful two-step framework you can use. So next time you see a news story, don't just stop at step one, which is hearing what they said. You've got to go deeper. Ask yourself about step two. Why did they say it? What's the real motive here? Who actually benefits from me believing this story? Because at the end of the day, the power to cut through all that noise and find some clarity, it doesn't lie with the media companies. It lies with us. It's in our ability to be active thinkers, not just passive listeners. And like it says right here, that, my friends, is where the real power is.